What's up, everybody? Welcome to the casting table from Apocalypse Movies. This is our show where we take a character, a fictional character that might be appearing in an upcoming film or project, and we choose what actor or actress we would want to play that character. It's a super fun idea. It's basically fan casting, but our own version of it. And this is not the first time we've been doing this. We've done this plenty of times over the years. We did take a little bit of a hiatus, but we're right back at it in 2023. We're going to be doing at least monthly. We're going to be doing the casting table. So keep an eye out for these. And please make us some suggestions. We're always taking suggestions for the casting table. Some of the best episodes have came from fans giving us ideas or viewers giving us ideas. So please let us know. I am Jacob Bartley. I'm going to be your host today for our Scott Summers, aka Cyclops casting table. I am joined by Gio Ramos and Brian Avalosino. I'll go to you first, Gio. How you doing? And are you excited to bring the casting table back?
Yeah. I mean, 2027 is right around the corner. So, it'll be here before we know it. And that's when we can expect the MCU's X-Men movie. So, it's never too early to start. And, this has been a big time coming. The X-Men and the MCU.
Absolutely. And Brian, I'll ask you the same questions.
I'm excited. It's been a while. I'm excited to do some casting. I'm curious how many we have that are the same, but yeah, I'm ready to go.
Interesting. I have some backups just in case. Forewarning, Cyclops is one of my favorite comic book characters, period. When I was a kid, before the X-Men movies, when I was a kid, Cyclops was my favorite X-Men. But then the movies came out, and I'm like, how can it not be Wolverine? Like, Hugh Jackman was Wolverine. But to me, look, Cyclops is a leader. He's the man. He needs to be like intimidating, and people need to fear him. And like, I just don't think the movies have portrayed him that way thus far. I mean, I think in X2, when he was brainwashed a little bit, there was that intimidation factor because it's like, his beam is very powerful. And if he's on the wrong side, it's all bad. So I just think if the MCU is going to introduce this character, they need to do it with respect and give us a good portrayal of him. But also, Gio, to your point, yes, we may not get an X-Men movie for a while, but every X-Men character is fair game. They can pop up at any time going forward. And that can mean in Quantumania, hypothetically. So just saying Cyclops can pop up at any time. So I think there's no good or bad time to do the casting for this. But let's jump into it. The way this works is we are going to mention, we're going to go around one at a time. We're going to each mention an honorable mention. We're going to do 2 honorable mentions. And then we're going to name our number 1 choice for Cyclops. I can't remember. Did we do our number 1 choice first, or did we do the honorable mentions first?
We could do honorable mention because we'll probably go on a tirade about.
The only problem with that is, what if one of our honorable mentions is someone else's number?
Okay, then do number 1.
Okay, so Jake will probably cut that out, but we're gonna do our our number 1s first, just in case somebody else has our honorable mention as our number 1, and then we will go ahead and list our honorable mentions. So now that we set the table, no pun intended. And by the way, the reason why this is called the casting table is because we used to record at Jake's house.
Excuse me.
In the day. Yes, this was
before me.
Yes, this was before Brian came on to Apocalypse Movies. We were doing a podcast, and it just came up naturally. We're like, we need a casting show, and some ideas were thrown around, and we were sitting at a table. We were like, the casting table. So that's just how it came about. But yes, let's get into it. I'm going to start with you, Brian. So Scott Summers, Cyclops, who's your number 1 choice for an MCU Cyclops?
So I go back and forth with whether or not I want him to be younger and then grow up through the years in real life, or if I want like mid-20s, whatever range, and start from there. But for this, I kind of went for like the mid-20s, older range. and I am going to go with Scott Eastwood as my number one pick. I want to see Scott Eastwood like this, right? Just like that. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see that about that age, that suit, that leadership style. This is the goal. I think, I mean, everything I've seen him in, he's been great. He just doesn't get like that super leading role. He's always kind of like the secondary character. Like
what? I mean, Suicide Squad, Fate of the Furious.
That's like, those are even less than secondary characters.
Gio, wasn't his name just like Pretty Boy or something like that? It was just literally like, he didn't even have I don't know. I don't remember, but I thought it was just something. Yeah, he never gets like a full blown.
He was the soldier that carried the bomb underwater in Suicide Squad. Just like a waste of a character.
Exactly. So I would love to see him get his time to shine. And I mean, lead the X-Men. Like, I think he could be really good. I mean, his dad is obviously Clint Eastwood, so he knows how to act. So yeah, that is my choice, Mr. Scott Eastwood.
I don't mind that. Like,
and he kind of looks like a Cyclops.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's a good choice. So when they cast the younger Cyclops in the previous X-Men movies, right? Like, it's like he's like a little kid. Was it Ty Sheridan, I believe?
Yeah.
And it's like, it just feels like a kid. And I feel like even when Ty Sheridan grows up, he's still just gonna look small. Like, I want Cyclops to just, like, I don't know, for lack of a better way of explaining it, I want him to feel like a grown man. And
I don't hate Ty Sheridan's, actually, to be completely honest.
I mean, but I agree with you. Honest.
I agree with you with the age. He looks young.
Those other young X-Men, Ty Sheridan was a good casting for that, what they were going for. But Scott Eastwood, he's 5'11", he's good size, like he's a big dude. I'm totally down for it, and I think he's a good enough actor to get the job done. So I would be down for that if they did Scott Eastwood. The funny thing to me is, like, you know, I actually think James Marsden is a great choice for Cyclops. They just didn't portray the character great in every movie. Because, like, if, let's say we never got him as Cyclops, he would be a great choice if we were doing this right now, but obviously we can't choose him. Gio, I'm going to go to you, man. So basically tell us what your vision is for this character and then who your guy is.
Okay, well, I'm going to switch it up now. I'm going to go with a kind of a far-fetched choice, so to speak. So my vision of Cyclops is, you know, I think about the 90s animated series, and there's no coincidence that Marvel is not only doing X-Men 97, but they're also, every time the mutants get mentioned, you hear some variation of the.
Yeah.
So clearly that tells me they're going to be looking into that animated series, iconic animated series, as a lot of how they want to portray the MCU's X-Men. So when I think about Cyclops, I want somebody who has the stature of a leader, somebody who can be very by the book, but sees his authority sometimes get challenged by other strong characters like Aurora Monroe or even Logan, Wolverine. You know, there was quite a bit of that in the animated series. So with that, somebody who I would take a chance on would be Liam Hemsworth, the other Hemsworth brother.
Nice.
This would also be a challenge for Kevin Feige. Okay, Liam Hemsworth has been like featured in a lot of mainstream adaptations, and he's recognizable, but he's not big enough of a name to hold any box office star power, in my opinion. Very few do that nowadays, so maybe that's not so much a criticism on Liam Hemsworth. But can you do it, Kevin Feige? Can you take this actor with limited range based on what we've seen and somehow make him one of the definitive leaders in all of Marvel Comics in Cyclops? So he would be my pick. I could see him standing there in his 6'3", stature, and just command orders and be by the book, and see his authority get challenged. And for me, I think that would be a bold take, a take that would fall in line with prior iconic castings, that just once you hear the casting news, the internet is a fucking blaze. Like, everyone's freaking out until they see the movie and they're like, wow, we were wrong again. This guy is actually pretty good. Kevin Feige knew what he was doing. So I'll go with Liam Hemsworth.
Good choice. I like it. He floated around my radar. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
and
another
I think
one.
Yeah, that's important, Gio, is like, we don't what happens, I mean, one of the prime examples is like Robert Pattinson as Batman, right? Like, you take these, I mean, he's a great actor. We know Robert Pattinson's a good actor, but he's so associated with Twilight and the YA audience, right? And so is Liam Hemsworth, though. He's associated with the YA audience because of Hunger Games, like dating Miley Cyrus, all that. That's part of his image, right? And like, you could take this actor and just kind of, make people realize, like, okay, damn, he's a badass. Like, you could totally do that with this character. And look, I don't know if you intentionally planned this. Cyclops in the comics is 6'3", and so is Liam Hemsworth.
Wow.
Oh, well, there you go.
Cyclops is actually 6'3", and that's important. Like, I don't think, I just looked it up, but none of us knew Cyclops' height off the top of our head. But in our minds, from the comics and from the animated series, he does have a intimidating stature. Like, he's a big guy.
He's big,
like a leader. Yeah,
absolutely. And yeah, I think those would both be great choices. Brian's going a little bit older. That would be a little bit of a younger Cyclops, but not too young. It's not a Ty Sheridan type casting. It's somewhere in the middle, which, if they were going younger, I think that would be a great choice.
It is literally in the middle, because mine's 36. Ty Sheridan's 26, and Liam Hemsworth is 32. So it's like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, mine is a little bit older, not necessarily 10 years older than our oldest one so far. But Gio, I think you might know where I'm going with this. I've hinted at it before. So Cyclops being one of my favorite characters, period. And there's a certain actor who has been freed up recently. And that is Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Look,
I thought he was going back to Doc Ray Montgomery.
I've been banned from casting Doc Ray Montgomery in any of these anymore. All right, I've already chosen him for like 5 roles. Okay, and why isn't he in more movies? Just somebody answer me that. Anyways, look, yes, it is heartbreaking that Henry Cavill, as far as we know, for the near future, is not going to be Superman. That's fine. Henry Cavill is one of my favorite actors. He's one of the best dudes out there. Gio showed me this interview that he was doing regarding Enola Holmes too, and he's just a lovable guy. And he's so genuine and nice, and just an awesome dude. And to me, he's also, obviously, he has a big he's 6'1". He's not quite as tall as Liam Hemsworth, but he's a big guy. He's huge. He obviously is ripped. You can see right here the character has some muscle. He just doesn't. His only ability isn't just shooting people with his eyes. The funny thing to me is, I didn't even think about this. He would go from one superhero who shoots red lasers out of his eyes to another superhero that shoots red lasers out of his eyes.
Always has his red laser.
So you can check that off. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the thing, though. Look, Henry Cavill is so synonymous with Superman, but Cyclops, like a quarter of his face is always covered, whether it's the visor or some sunglasses. I think there's some room in the MCU to get him some contact lenses that block the beam from coming out.
You're going to pay that much for Henry Cavill. You're going to get a pretty face and some contacts.
Look, Tony Stark, he's dead, but Stark Industries, they can make it happen, right? Or a Shuri can make them. 100% she could. So maybe we'll get to see his eyes, but I just think because I don't want Henry Cavill to just go away in the superhero genre. I want him to be prominent, and for me, this is not about Marvel or DC. This is just about, look, they told us he's not playing Superman anymore. Okay. So he's obviously not going to be in any DC projects anytime soon. So let's get him over here in another prominent role, in a badass leader character. And I would love to see it. He has a very commanding voice. So that would be my number one choice. Henry Cavill as Cyclops. Gio, I know you're very passionate about this topic. Would you be okay with that if it happened?
Would I be okay with Cyclops entering the battle and going, Mission Impossible Fallout?
Lock and loading his arms.
Yeah. Reloading his biceps and going, let's go. Hell yeah, I'd be okay with that, man. Nice. I mean, I'm all for excuse me. Wow. See, I'm so excited. I'm all Kevin Feige. Swoop up Henry Cavill, please.
Yeah.
Put him to use. Okay. Get him in there and give him a role that matches his just his presence. Wow. His presence, how he is on stage, the way he talks, how sophisticated he is, how what's the word I'm looking for? Intelligent he speaks and whatnot. Absolutely, that could absolutely be Cyclops. Yeah, change his hair a little bit, maybe go away from the black, but hell, give him a mustache for all I care. Yeah, I mean,
no mustaches.
No, but I mean, no, that's not a bad choice at all. The whole world loves Henry Cavill. They're rooting for him to come back, and you put him in a role like Cyclops. I mean, he'll own it just like he did Superman, which is an even tougher role than Cyclops. Okay, so he's clearly capable of it. No offense to Cyclops, iconic, big time. Second or third favorite X-Men character for me, but yeah, I love it, man. Good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And so while I know they've gone away from having the Wolverine yellow spandex in live action, I get why they don't do that. But this costume right here for Cyclops, I think it translates directly to live action. I think that works.
Well, we saw it, right? That. We saw it in X-Men Apocalypse at the end, right? When they're all in the danger room.
Oh, yeah.
They all have their own, Nightcrawler has the red V vest and the gloves.
It just needs to be used more.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, cool. Well, we don't always get our first choice for these castings. So we definitely got some honorable mentions, and let's just go around and give both or all of our honorable mentions at a time. So Brian, I'll go right back to you, man.
I just have the one because I don't want to steal other people's, but if I went younger, like I was saying earlier, I was thinking Jacob Elordi from Euphoria.
Ooh. Wow.
I think he could be interesting if they went younger. I'm pretty sure he's really tall.
He is.
So that is something they're looking for. He's 6'5", so that's pretty tall.
That's a good choice, man. I didn't even think about him, but I actually his character is awful in Euphoria, but I like him as an actor. He does a great job.
Yeah, so I would go with him. I think he'd be interesting.
Nice. All right, Gio, I'll go to you, man. Or what do you think about that? Or are you familiar with Jacob Elordi at all, Gio?
I see clips on Instagram. He just constantly argues with the blonde chick, whatever her name is. Sydney Sweeney. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney.
But but by the way, get her in the MCU. My God. Anyways,
I'm sure they will. Hey, she's in White Lotus season 1.
She's in Madam Web too.
She's in Madam Web.
Oh, Gio, real quick, did you like Brian's casting of Scott Eastwood? I didn't ask you that.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be opposed to
You
it.
can say
I
no.
just I'm more. There's another role that's like made.
I
for
know what
him
role you want Scotty
Mm.
Swood in. You've talked about
that
it
you
before.
know.
Interesting.
I'll give you a hint. I mean, Scotty Swood, you better learn how to smoke a cigar. That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
Exactly. Gio's been saying that for a while. So
he'd be
and
great.
honestly, a lot of these are interchangeable. Like I wouldn't mind Henry Cavill
Yeah.
as Wolverine either. You know, honestly.
He's too big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
he
bit.
is.
He'd be taller than Cyclops.
Yeah.
Would you
Hey,
say?
but hold on, but Hugh Jackman is taller than Henry Cavill. So
Who
True.
knows what they'll
yeah.
do?
All right, Gio, who is your first honorable mention?
I think this was somebody I mentioned back when we talked X-Men casting about a month or so ago, but he was actually my main choice until I flipped it just now. Dylan O'Brien, 31-year-old.
Yep,
Dylan
That's a
O'Brien.
great younger one, and
Um,
he's older than he looks, but he looks very
he's
young.
31,
Mhm.
5'10", but just do
That's
what
fine.
Christopher Nolan did for Tom Hardy and Dark Knight Rises. Give him like 3-inch boots, and then boom, he's 6'1", and yeah, again, he's another one of those actors that like clearly talented. Okay, can hold his own. Like that movie with Michael Keaton, I think it was American Assassin.
Mhm.
Like held his own the entire way. Also from the young adult genre, what was that? Maze Runner, right? Maze Runner movies.
Yes.
Is that where?
Mm-hmm.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah,
also.
he was in Teen Wolf right there, and assuming Kevin Feige goes for either, I mean, I think Dylan O'Brien can either fit in both. He can be a part of a coming of age X-Men crew,
Yeah.
or he could be a part of an already established X-Men crew. I think he can pull off both. So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
my choice. Yeah,
Love it.
That
He was floating around mine
is
too.
a great choice. If they went for a late
I got a phone call
20s,
real quick. I can't miss this. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah,
Go for it.
go
Give me 1
ahead.
second. I'm just gonna leave.
Just
If
mute.
we
Here,
got
I'll
a
mute you.
late 20s, early 30s Cyclops, I think Dylan O'Brien would be a great choice.
Yeah, he was floating around my radar too.
Yeah. So I have my first honorable mention is another actor that comes from the YA genre. And I didn't have much opinion on him because I had only seen him in one series of movies, but I watched him recently in White Lotus season 2, and he's amazing. And this is Theo James. He was in the Insurgent. Was it, what were the Shailene
Divergent?
Divergent, Insurgent, Detergent movies. All right. That was the fourth one, right? Detergent.
Yeah,
I never
Detergent.
made it. And like whatever, like he's fine.
Yeah.
In White Lotus season 2, he's amazing.
Great.
And he is ripped. He's in amazing shape. I'm not saying Cyclops is like that guy's personality from White Lotus season 2, but him showing that side of him kind of showed me like, okay, he can be like a strong-minded, like guy who doesn't take any crap from anybody and is like leading people in the battlefield. Like that's what he showed me he can do. He has an intimidation factor to him as well. Again, great shape. So he's 6 foot, good height for the role. So I think Theo James would like before. If you told me this 2 years ago, I'd be like, what? Okay, I'll give it a chance. Now I'm enthusiastic if you cast this. And he's 38, which I think is a good age as well. Gio, I don't know if you heard it, but my honorable mention was
Theo James.
Theo James. Yes, he's grown on me a lot, especially his appearance in White Lotus season 2. I've been pulling a lot of actors.
He's also from
season 2. So there's basically a brand new cast in the second season, except one character. But he's great. I do have a couple other honorable mentions. Did anybody else have any more honorable mentions?
No.
So if I was going younger, like around the Dylan O'Brien age, first of all, when we did our X-Men casting a few months ago, I chose Austin Butler. So I avoided him for this, but I would still be down for that. But also, I wouldn't mind if Ansel Elgort was cast as Cyclops, to be honest.
He's canceled, though.
Not necessarily. There's a lot more to it, to that story than the headlines, to be honest. But so he's
at
not
one point James Gunn was canceled. That's Marvel
fair.
can
and he's not necessarily canceled anymore. But there's a longer story to that. But
it's a thing, yeah.
If they were going for a younger, like a 30-year-old Cyclops, I wouldn't mind him. But yeah, but definitely my first choice is Henry Cavill. Second choice would be Theo James. Brian, why don't you remind the viewers of your number one choice and your honorable mention?
My numero uno was Scott Eastwood, and my honorable mention was Jacob Elordi.
Ooh, I'm leaning towards Jacob Elordi. I kind of like that if they're going young. And Gio, why don't you remind the reviewers of your two choices?
All right, my main choice, bold choice, would be Liam Hemsworth, and the backup would be Dylan O'Brien.
Absolutely. I think any of those would be a great choice. The important thing to me is that they make Cyclops the leader of the X-Men. Look, I get it. Wolverine is more popular. We know this, but they've shown us time and time again, Wolverine is not a leader. I mean, he leads by example. He leads through his actions. He's a great number two, but he doesn't even want to lead. Like Cyclops is the leader. So I'm just hoping they keep those characteristics with him going forward. All right, that's going to do it for our casting table of Scott Summers, aka Cyclops. Let us know what you thought of all of our choices. We would love to hear your opinions. And of course, let us know who you would choose. That's the most important thing here. Who do you want to see as Cyclops? Let us know in the comment section, and keep an eye out for all of our casting tables coming forward. Our next one coming up is going to be Zatanna from the DC world. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, keep an eye out for all of our shows. Apocalypse Now every Tuesday. We have Fandalorian Club coming with the Bad Batch. Thank you all for watching. See you guys next time.